Well, you're welcome anytime. Even if you just want to do it off the net times. What was really helpful for me was working with Pat, and we'd be there on Slack communicating or Discord, and just sending simple words back and forth, and just chatting on Discord, privately to confirm what was sent or to communicate. And even if you don't have enough room for 80 meters in your yard, you can just add some wire pieces, just any which way you can, and hopefully don't catch the fence on fire or anything, but it should work, if you can tune up.
Yeah, dude, I got that ready. I just need to learn the code and start bugging you guys like I said. How about the question? You want to answer that question? Would you rather speak all languages or be able to talk with animals?
Well, I get to spend part of my day talking with attorneys, so I think I'd better to speak to animals, maybe more like pleasant.
Man, we haven't. Well, I guess Cord says that he would rather, talk to all of the animals, including the quote smart monkeys. Yeah, dude, it's funny. Thanks again for checking in. Let's see. I got to the bottom of the list, and I think that's pretty good for the short time check-in. So I'm going to move to regular check-ins, but let me do a station ID first. This is the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5XU, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. here on the KA5D repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. If you're just joining us and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 97.4. If you're using the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN. I'm your net control operator for tonight's net. Regular check-ins, come in with your call sign and name.
This is WZ5BBS Rusty, Northwest Austin.
Net recognizes WZ5BBS Rusty. Anybody else come in for a regular check-in? Come in with your call sign and name. All right, so we got Rusty. Rusty, what's going on, my friend?
Man, I'm trying to stay cool. I just got back from a late evening or early evening, I guess, walk and making a little dinner. So not a whole lot, just been kind of up to my elbows in, work and all that kind of fun. So nothing exciting to report. As far as your question, I think I would like to speak all the languages. I've always wanted to look hot and sexy, and that's just apparently never going to be in the cards. But I think if I could speak Portuguese, I could at least sound sexy, and, at least half of my dreams would come true, I guess. I don't know. But Portuguese for me just does it. So that's going to have to be, I'm going to stray from everybody else with the animals and go with let's talk to some people.
Well, right on, man. That is funny, man. Thanks for that. That's pretty cool. Portuguese, I always thought it was French, but I guess we all have different flavors when it comes to that. Those walks that you do, how long are those walks? Because I've been meaning to do some walks in the evening, but oh man, it's kind of hard to get into the mood with the heat.
Well, they average about 3 miles, and I try to do it every day. Some days are harder to get out there and make it happen, but I did that. I've done it for a long time, but during COVID, I kind of got a little husky, so I decided that it was time to kind of start watching what I put in my face and maybe start doing some exercise. And since all the gyms were closed, I just kind of carved out a fun little 3-mile path over here. And now I know most of my neighbors and most of the people, and so it's nice to go by and say hi and see all the animals and whatnot. But, yeah, you know, so 3 miles, that's about 15 miles a week, give or take.
That's an actual really long walk in my book. I thought you were doing like, you know, round the block or whatever, but that's impressive, dude. That's pretty cool that you get to do that. That's really good for your health. Do you get like chased by wild animals while you're doing that? I know you live up there.
No, so far I haven't. I've had a couple of dogs that have come over that want some lovin' and have run across the street away from their owners to come and say hi. But no, mostly for some loves and some licks. That's about all I get. Nobody's tried to bite me yet. So we'll, you know, the day ain't over yet though. But yeah, for the most part, they just want some lovin'.
Oh, right on. I'm glad to hear that because you know, when I was a kid back in the 70s in Puerto Rico, you know, out in the country. And if you want to go for a walk, you have to have a stick with you because those mean dogs will charge at you, and it was just scary. But you know, I guess the way we grew up, so you kind of, you know, it's what it is. You're not emotionally scarred or anything like that. But it's yeah, it was a totally different scenario. Hey, tell me about the fox hunt because I wanted to ask you on Sunday, but the fox is still going, and going forward, I'm gonna wrap it up by 7 p.m. so we can talk about it on that net. But how was it?
Man, it was great. So I went and had game night with my nephews on Saturday, and I could vaguely hear it on the flyover on 183, like around Burnett and Lamar. So I knew it was kind of somewhere there, or at least close to. And I got to ride around with David, K7 TVA. So he came over to the house and we loaded up all our gear. And I kind of told him, I was just like, all right, look, this is kind of where I've heard it, but I didn't hear it over here. Kind of game plan like we do. And we got on 183, and then on Lamar we went south. And just lost it. So nothing, went down south. I forget what the street we turned. I think it was 45th or something like that. Went over to Mopac, nothing. And so we came up Mopac, went over on 183, and we went up on Lamar. And lo and behold, we started to hear it. So I think it's the Metropolitan Park. I forget the name of the park, but there's a monster park up there. So I just knew there was a road that drove right through the middle, and I'm just like, I know this is totally where it is. And as usual, I was wrong. We went through the big park, and we could hear it, but it was obviously nowhere close. And so we started taking bearings and started trying to figure out, and we found a little green area. And I was just like, man, I know he put it in the middle. He's going to make us walk. Like, I know it. So we parked on, I would say, the northeast side and kind of walked down into the middle. And, man, it was not getting any stronger. And it was just kind of, we kept pointing south, and it lit up. And so we walked our way south all the way to the road where we could have, literally pulled up right next to it. And there it was, man. So it was a super fun fox hunt, and it was you set it up way easier than I saw it. So we got to sweat a little, and we got to walk a little. I got to hang out with David, which is always good. And yeah, man, it was a blast. So thanks for making that happen.
I did. Yeah, I figured that you guys went up at that. It's a Walnut Creek on North Lamar, Walnut Creek Park. I figured that you guys would probably end up there because of the proximity to that other little green belt. Yeah, dude, I try to make it almost a drive-through as easy as possible, but I guess you like the hardcore stuff. Yeah, it's I put it in there. I put the fox and I started driving off because I was in a hurry, so I have to leave, and I lost the signal really quickly. I think by the time I hit Lamar on breaker, I wasn't picking it up. But then I was talking to Paul, KA5, I forgot Paul. Sorry, Paul, I forgot your call sign. And he was telling me that he heard it on I-35 and Palmer. So it had like a weird path, I guess, diagonal or something going on with the signal, but I thought it was going to be kind of a pain in the hiney because it felt like it was in a bowl or something, like the signal wouldn't come out too far out.
Yeah, and I gotta say, you're kind of a butthole when it comes to installing antennas too. And so the horizontal was fun, which we picked up again with the Yagi. But I love the fact that you will wrap this thing around a pole, upside down, backwards. You know, you don't care, and it makes for a fun hunt either way, man. But I always try to get it perfect, you know, perfectly horizontal, so that everybody can get it. And you're just like, just whatever, we'll make it work, and everybody will find it. I was really kind of surprised. I was listening at the house, trying to hear it at the house, so I couldn't hear it over here, 183 and Anderson Mill. And but yeah, like I said, man, we were on Lamar going north, and I just knew it was going to be at the big park, and not so much. So thanks again. I'm going to borrow it. I hear Jeffrey has it now, but after Jeffrey, I want to borrow it because I got a good spot in mind for the next time I get to hide it.
Yeah, dude, feel free to grab it. Yeah, on the antenna, positioning of the antenna. Well, remember that I'm training you guys for the real thing in case we need to go out there and find one of those black boxes. You have no idea the antenna position of that. So I don't know, dude. Every time I learn the fuck on and I'm hunting, I'm always moving the antenna, you know, both ways because you just never know. Or it could be that the antenna was placed vertical and something happens and it just falls on the floor. So you just never know. So I guess it keeps you guys really sharp. Thanks for checking in and for talking to us. Does anybody have a question or a comment for Rusty? Come in with your call sign and name. All right, nothing heard. Thanks again, Rusty, for checking in and for your fun stories as usual. Anybody else wants to come in for a regular sign and name?
Kilo India 5, Uniform Kilo Foxtrot, Steve in Dripping Springs.
All right, we have Steve Kilo India 5, Uniform Kilo Foxtrot. I think that's got that hopefully correct. How you doing, Steve?
Doing great.
All right, awesome. You want to answer the tonight's question? Would you rather speak all languages or be able to talk with animals?
I think I would have to go with speak all the languages. Over.
All right, on. Yep, we got two of those. The majority of us, I guess, feel more comfortable talking to animals, which is kind of funny because we're always talking on the radio, but whatever. All right, man. Anything else going on this week for you?
No, not really. Just literally got everything plugged in and set up just a minute ago, so I hadn't really thought much about what I was going to talk about. Just, you know, regular work and stuff, and got some little plans coming up this weekend for Father's Day. We've got a family reunion going on down in Helotes, so just kind of doing some things for that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I forgot that's Father's Day weekend. I kind of usually know that because people remind me of it. But, well, that sounds pretty awesome. Are you going to do any radio down there?
Probably not. Just going down there just for the day on Saturday, just for a few hours. Kind of some distant cousins, a lot of people flying in for a function, and then we'll probably meet up. I've got a sister close by on Sunday, and we'll probably meet up and do some Father's Day stuff there. Won't be in a place long enough really to hook anything up unless, you know, if I just stepped outside and turn on an HT or something. So probably not, but I'll definitely be on. You know, we have the Oak Hill has a trivia Friday night, so I'll definitely be on for that.
Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely. Thursday night net also. That's tomorrow night at 8. I'll do a little listing of the local nets at the end of this one. Well, that's awesome, dude. I'm glad you checked in and you get to do some fun stuff over this coming weekend. Anybody have any comments or questions for Steve? Come in with your call sign and name. All right, nothing heard. I think I should do a station ID. It's been a little bit. This is the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club. Call sign N5XU every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. here on the KA5D repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. If you're just joining us and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 97.4. If you're using the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN. I'm your net control operator for tonight's net. Anybody wants to come in for regular check-ins, come in now with your call sign and name.
This is Kilo India 5 Victor India Bravo, Vikram from Leander, no traffic.
All right, net recognizes Kilo India 5 Victor India Bravo, Sri Vikram with no traffic. Thanks for calling in. Anybody else wants to come in for a regular check-in? All right, nothing heard. It looks like it's time to wrap up the net, but before we do that, let me give you a list of the local nets. We start with Monday. Monday night, we have the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club 6-meter Monday, hosted by Rick, AI5A. That's on the 50.125 megahertz at 8 p.m. On Tuesday, we have two nets. The first one, it's the Oak Hill Southside Simplex, hosted by Ray, K5BZI, and that's on the 146.555 megahertz frequency at 8 p.m. That's 146.555. And also at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, we have the DMR Soundcheck Net hosted by George, W5JDX and Tommy, N5ZNO, and that's on the 441.300 megahertz DMR machine at 8 p.m. On Wednesday night, we have this one, the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Net, hosted by Kyle, KA5D, and me, Ernesto, KI5PZN, during this summer break. And this is the 441.325 megahertz at 8 p.m. and also on the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. On Thursdays, we have the Oak Hill CW Net, hosted by Pat, W5WTH, and that's on the 3.532 megahertz, 3.532 megahertz at 7:30. And at 8 p.m., we have the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by a different operator every week. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system at 8 p.m. On Friday, we have the Oak Hill Friday Night Trivia Net, hosted by Rusty, WZ5BBS. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system at 9 p.m. On Saturday, we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer's Net, hosted by Jeff, N5MNW, and that's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m. At 9 p.m., we have the 220 megahertz Guy Original Preservation Net, hosted by Steve, KB9DSQ, and that's on the 224.100 megahertz at 9 p.m., 224.100 megahertz. On Sunday, we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club 10-meter net, hosted by Rod, W5NDS, and that's on 28.410 megahertz at 3 p.m. At 7 p.m., we have the Travis County Aries Weekly Net, and that's on the 147.360 repeater at 7 p.m. At 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, we have the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by me, Ernesto, KI5PZN, and Mireya, KI5SYX, and that's here on the University Link Repeater System at 7:30 p.m. At 9 p.m., we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club SWAPnet, hosted by Jeff, N5NMW, and that's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. Thank you for joining us for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, a service of the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5XU. We're right here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the net. We're the official amateur radio club of the University of Texas at Austin. For more information, please visit n5xu.ece.utexas.edu, where you can read about the club, sign up for our email list. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and from my QTH here in East Austin, 73, and thanks again for participating and listening. The system is now returned to regular amateur use.
Hey Ernesto, thanks for hosting the net, and it's been great being here in Austin, and thanks very much for taking over for the summer. So, 7-3 from N5EIF.
All right, Sam, and thanks again for helping me with backup net control. Thank goodness I didn't skip anybody this time around. So, yeah, thanks again, man. Thanks again for helping out. This is KI5PZN.
Thanks, Ernesto. 7-3 N5EIF. I'll be clear.
N5EIF WZ5BBS. Hey, Samir. Just wanted to wish you good luck, man, in California, and have fun at your job, man, and welcome to being an adult. It's a great journey that sucks sometimes, but we all got to do it. So good luck, man. Hope to see you back around Austin soon. WZ5BBS.
Thanks very much, Rusty. And yeah, I guess it's already turning out to be a big adventure with car unavailability and all that. But I'm sure I'll figure out something, and looking forward to starting work. So thanks for being here on the net, Rusty, and glad to see you. 7-3 from N5EIF.
WZ5BBS, you there?
Yes, sir. What you got?
Do you know if Ashley is going to, and we're talking about Jeffrey's Ashley, if Ashley's going to put the Fox this weekend, or I didn't ask him, I forgot.
I have no idea. I think I asked you if he was picking it up or what was going on, and you said she might be hiding it. So as far as I know, all I know is from you. I haven't talked to Jeffrey about the Fox yet, so no clue, man.
Okay, no, he has a Fox, but I wasn't sure if they were going to put it this weekend or if it was going to be a different day. That was the thing.
The calendar is set up for every other weekend, so I think technically it wouldn't be this coming weekend, it would be the one after. But, we do them every weekend as well, so I don't know. Next time I hear Jeffrey on the radio, I will ask him.
All right, man, I guess we'll get to harass him tomorrow in the net.
AI5OS. Good evening.
K5TR.
George, how you doing? K5TR, AI5OS.
AI5OS, K5TR. Doing good this evening.
Real good. And what's going on in your radio world on a night like this?
Well, not much. I'm out running errand to the pharmacy and things like that.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, I just got finished putting together a futon and together for my daughter in her guest room here at the house, so when she comes to visit, and I just figured I'd sit down and was looking for a junk box, and I just discovered I found the interface cable that goes from my DS2000 to a USB port, so I'm going to kind of explore what it takes to do FT8 and all that good stuff on this thing, which is going to be kind of interesting. Apparently, you can do it relatively easy. I guess I have to get some kind of a sound card interface for them, but I wonder if I have to use specifically a rig blaster type thing.
Oh, well, it depends on if you have any kind of issues. Some of those interfaces have like transformers and stuff, but to like cut down on hum issues and things. But I don't. I mean, I've been successful using just the sound card hooked up to radios. I don't have it. Well, I guess I do have some sort of quote modern radios that have USB sound devices in them, which is kind of cool because one USB cable does rig control and it hooks you to the sound device in the radio, so that's kind of nice. Makes life easy. But then several of my other radios just have connectors on the back of them to give me audio in and out, and I just use a regular outboard sound device to do those.
So is it just I should look for some kind of is it the equivalent of a line out jack then?
Well, some radios have that. I mean, one of the radios I have has a line out jack. I mean, you can actually hook it up to the speaker or headphone out and microphone in. Obviously, you have to figure out those connections if you do it that way. You can do it that way. Some radios have, so like the radios that I use primarily have, they actually have a connection designed to hook up to a sound card, so they're 8-inch jacks in and out for audio. And when you switch to digital mode, you can set it so it uses those. The radio that I have in my car is a Yaesu FT891, and it has a, I forget what the connector is called. It's essentially a PS2
like a PS2 keyboard connector type thing, multi-pin, small DIN connector, and it actually has audio in and out on that cable. And so I actually bought a cable that somebody builds for that, so it just plugs in. Lots of 2-meter radios have that same kind of connector on them to hook up a TNC, hook up audio devices to it. I don't know about the TS2000, what connectors are on the back of it. I wouldn't be surprised if it had something like that on the back of it, but it probably is going to be buried in some DIN connector cable, unfortunately, and probably not 1/8-inch stereo jacks.
That may be the case. I did find out that I've got 3 DIM connectors. One on the left is my HF amplifier. I think the middle is ALC, and the right is the right connector is looks like it's the ALC jack. Too bad they don't make a DIM connector that goes off into a splitter, so you could have a main cable going into that DIM connector, and then it's split out into some other, to a bunch of different DIM ports that could be used. But then I guess if you did that, each particular interface that was using the whatever the multi-DIM connection would be fighting over what pins to use when it wanted to access what's addressed by the DIM connection.
But as far as you could plug a sound card into the headphone or the speaker jack on the radio and feed audio into the thing, so you could definitely decode signals without any issues at all. I mean, that would be an easy step, because you probably don't have too much trouble getting from a 1/8-inch stereo jack into your sound card, or from the 1/4 inch headphone jack on the front of the radio into a sound card. So that part is pretty easy. And then, like I said, you can go into the microphone. The problem there, obviously, is that the microphone connector is an 8-pin microphone connector on a TS2000, and so you have to build up some sort of adapter to achieve that. But it is possible to do that. You usually don't need any fancy hardware. But things like rig blasters and stuff are kind of nice because they have level controls on them, and it makes it maybe a little easier to switch back and forth between different modes and stuff. But usually, in my experience, not necessarily required. I've always been able to do these kind of modes with hooking up to the mic and the speaker out and stuff. But it may take a little more work.
Roger that. Yeah, I'll end up consulting the Facebook group. I found a whole group of TS2000 people. I'm going to post a message there and see what they have to say on this, because now that I got things up, hey, I may as well put this thing to good use. Recording device. When you're contesting, I noticed that you've got a recording device. Is that built into your radio itself, or is that an external device that you've got where you can hit the button and just, repeat your call sign?